Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. The one, the only master propaganda hero, like defender of the fatherland, still recovering, but, overall, mostly feeling better by now, though my voice is clearly not quite there yet. We're off here, though, to 1v1 on Mill Road. In the north, it is Esam fighting here for the Red Army, the Soviet Union. Comrade Stalin here with Guard Motor, featuring the T-35 Hey Motor, Guards Rifle Infantry, Vehicle Crew Repair Training, and of course Marked Vehicle. In the south, it is Backman fighting for the Wehrmacht, the German Army, Deutschland. Here with the 1st Panzer Division with elite troops, Spearhead and mechanized. Double infantry and machine gun bulletins. We got Grenadier MD42 versus double conscripts. And as always, a hearty thanks to my patrons, supporters, champions, and anyone or all of that, then the Propagandacast would not be possible. So big thanks to them. Other people who join the ranks, support the Propagandacast by pledging on Patreon, or they can donate via PayPal. Links in the description. Either would, of course, make me quite happy. And finally, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing, talk about this and that also helps out the Propagandacast. So, Grenadier MD42 versus double conscripts. We got Backman here with Spearhead, featuring the mortar half-track, Panzer Tactician, reconnaissance overflight, fragmentation bombs, and of course the Tiger tank. We'll always start with the Pioneers. Up north here comes the move there for Esam, with a 3rd squad on the way there. In the south, Grenadiers machine gunning about here steadily. Bit of ground points here in the west, continuing westwards, but in the east with some barbed wire on the car to make sure the Germans don't run away with it. Except of course they can just pop in the other side. Comes there with the sandbags here. No sandbags there. I was not expecting much engagement there. 2nd Grenadier squad almost done for Backman. Ground was done probably the Pioniere. Grenadiers move towards the northwest. I mean, so far they're quite opening. They're both sort of sticking to each side of the map so far. Of course, that will soon change any moment now, any second. I said any second. Also sandbags here. 4th comfortable phase, and that's actually a bit of an interesting deviation considering most server players nowadays go from 3 comes with 2 engineers with Guard Motor, but he's here clearly wants something else. MD42 cheering into them there. Of course, heavy cover reduces a significant part of the damage, plus of course a lot of suppression up north here. Pioneers as the conscripts. 3rd Grenadier squad here for Backman. In the south here, engineers flying up behind the M42. Putting some pressure there on Backman. Still got a bit of a cold, but again, worst of it is over by now, thankfully. Just slight coughs here and there, and well, a lot of snot. Good news for the news by the cough point as Esam there definitely moves around here. The rear of Backman, well, his back, if you will, goes for the cough point, forcing a full retreat here. Several units there, definitely a bit awkward. More gunners bring to assist here. Gunners pushed off the cough point. Really good stroke here by Esam right at the cough point. Nice maneuvering here up north there. Pioneers versus 2 more conscript squads here. Probably in part, surprised because again, most server players don't go for 4 conscripts nowadays. So again, the Wehrmacht metagame to a degree is very much expecting us to go for 3 conscript engineers. If suddenly the player goes for 4 conscripts, it arguably can, at least some surprise. There's again the German players just like, well, scheiße. So that wasn't what was supposed to happen. And then follow up quick with sandbags. Sharp play there by Esam, disruptive and fierce. 4th Grenadiers go for Backman, of course realizing his opponent's gone for a lot of infantry. He responds with a lot of infantry as well. My God, if these communist Schwein can do it, we can do it too. You mean 6-man squads? 9 4-man, but we'll get more of them. Oh, why can't we have 6-man squads? Because we can't. Fighting by the fuel point there. Of course, in Company 3, the Wehrmacht Grenadiers will be 6-man squads. Thumbs up. But that's Companies 3. This is Companies 2. Bit more to go, I think, before we get to Companies 3, but I can't wait personally. Grab the car point here up north. We've got Company Force there. We've got the medical supplies there grabbed. Back at base. Rush. Here could be an anti-aircraft after, in fact, being rushed by Esam. Might just be going for the T-70. We'll have to see. But considering Backman has yet to take out the Dolan, fast anti-aircraft after could be quite devastating for Backman and the German army in the current situation. Also, of course, may want to get back the carve point, but he's busy wiring off first here to ensure the Soviets, don't make another push and grab the cover. A lot of maneuvering here. Yeah, this is turning into like a fairly heavier infantry match than is normal in the Soviet Wehrmacht early game here, with 4 squads on each side within the first 5 minutes. Backman taking up. Very sensible play there. Troops setting up the for Esam. Hasn't finished the tank group chain command there. Probably a misclick or something else. We'll have to see, but you'd figured like finish that as soon as possible, in particular since he could like rush out an anti-aircraft tower attack, which again, under current circumstances, would be quite bad for Backman to have to deal with because he's got no packs, anti-aircraft tower attack, or Panzer Shreks, and the anti-aircraft tower attack is really, really good versus infantry. So, like an anti-aircraft half-tech rush right now would be absolute disastrous for the German players. It is surprising that Esam is seemingly not actually deliberately not going for them. Again, T7 is also pretty good. I'm not saying it's not, but it's just, you know, if you can rush on anti-aircraft tough in certain circumstances, it's going to be really, really good. So it is a bit of a surprise that Esam is in fact not doing that, because again, it does give Backman, not Brickman, but Backman time to, you know, actually build up. I'd like to make a nice company bring in counters. So, quick note that we do get units retreating. Probably they realize something. Oh shit, we forgot to finish the building back home. Oh, I thought we left the kettle on. Look, Yuri, the Commandant's not going to shoot us for leaving the kettle on. He's going to shoot us for this if we don't finish it now. Oh. Actually, on second hand, the comments I might shoot us for that one too. Like to make some of the armored car for Backman. Grab the carve points there. Devious sneaky play there. They're not the biggest carve points, not as impactful, but still has some minor impact. 2-2 almost done. We do get the intake. Now he counts. I think at this point Esam's realised that, you know, at this point he might as well just go for the T70, because the moment to like really, I think, utilise the intake of Tarftech has already, like, you know, gone past him. Like a high speed train. So there we go, 2-2 out there for Backman and the German army. Deutschland. Up north we got the gunners with the Nisi, and guards got out here for Esam. DP light machine guns on the way as well, I imagine. Just a click away. And a pack forward for Backman, since again, 7-minute mark. Typically is where you really need to like start concerning yourself about the T70. So, which again is where, you know, again, the fast anti-aircraft to be useful, because again, like, you can usually then hit up much faster, and again, your opponent is like typically again like very meta bound. You can that way completely blindside them then with a very fast anti-aircraft tower deck, because again, they're likely to not have the counters. Either way though, onto their routed. T70 is on the way, guards got out here as well. Caught up with the gun, the light machine guns firing here from the fences. In the south, got Esam launching a small offensive here with 2 squads versus 1 grenadier squad there that set the light machines getting some impacts in, but ultimately they are outgunned and not veteran enough to like really handle it on their own. More grenades being pushed in. Medic bunker up as well there for Backman. North here, quick rough grenade there, falls the guards into retreat. The bush though sadly could not retreat and would suffer for it. Another casualty of the war. T7 engaging gunners with his 45mm gun. South, the armoured covers the conscripts. 270 auto cannon packed up with a crouching machine gun, ripping into those retreating Soviet infantrymen. Pioneer space in the centre with barbed wire. And another new squad here for Esam, probably to help repair the T70 faster, but also imagine he might be starting to consider the possibility that Backman could be laying down telemines. Obviously, if his T70 runs into that, that's going to be a very, very dead T70 very fast, which would be very disastrous for Esam. Or at least very bad. So, back here, nothing further going on there for Backman. Not quite able to take up. He could go for like another machine gun, a mortar, Panzer grenadiers could also be an excellent option for Backman to consider. We'll have to see what he does. North there, fresh push here by Esam. Another machine gun there for Backman. Not a bad choice at all here as opponent with a lot of infantry. I mean, it is worth noting Esam has got 5 squads of infantry, so having a second machine gun to contain that I think is a pretty good read on the situation strategically. Up north here, the MD42 caught out on them with the guardsmen who hadn't headed cover. Not the spot you want the machine to be in, and the pack crew so far heading the house, but not the sandbags. There we go. Still Indonesian on the flank here, and we do get the minesweepers again. Esam there, you know, taking the possibility of teleminesweepers his opponent very seriously. Thumbs up for that. Ground Western Point, going to split up north here. Looks like he's planning some kind of sneaky maneuver, and we got tech there for Backman as well now. Mines from Esam. Ground the Eastern Point. Finish with the conscripts. Mines here from Esam. Getting flanked with the conscripts. Tech halfway done. Lots of mine engagements here and there between Backman and Esam. But again, Esam here disrupting Backman's economy fairly consistently. In comparison, Backman just isn't really achieving the same, even trying to achieve the same against Esam currently. Also got grenade features there for Esam now. Plus even more mines. North Indies caught laying down mines here, so at this point I think it's safe to say Backman was considering minesweepers before. He really should be considering it now, because now he has pretty much got visual confirmation that he really wasn't paying attention to both laying down mines. And there he goes, straight into one, so yeah. And straight into another mine. Like, at this point I think Backman has all the evidence he needs that he should go for minesweepers. There we go. Like, if that wasn't enough to convince him to get a minesweeper, then, you know, you do have to wonder what would be enough to convince him to get a minesweeper at that stage. But, Herr Oberleutnant, we just lost an armored car. It's not so big. No tech yet for Esam. We do get a max. It's worth noting, by the way, Esam has no field guns at this point. That's actually a bit interesting. Obviously not being saying the immediate rush of getting hit by a fast tank, but you know, typically most solo players at this point would have had Cisco now. Southgate counter was routed, machine gun team guns went in there with a lot of machine guns, catching some southern forces there in a bit of a tricky situation. That rifling attempt as well there. We'll have to see if he goes for first, but I expect a Panzer IV. That just is the common metagame choice there. For variant players, we get a mortar here for Backman. Not a bad idea, obviously. Again, the map here in particular, I think most 1-in-1 maps are going to have to say, though, I think benefit a lot from mortars, but certainly this one certainly is very nice. Obviously, could go for the mortar half-deck, considering that would currently delay, I think, his Panzer, I think, a bit much. I don't think he's going to go for that. Like you say, going to rush at a Stug. Yeah, sure, you got to think go for a mortar half-deck here, but I also think, you know, going for a regular mortar is quite fine. Contemplating around here. Gonna hit that machine gun with a Molotov. Fuel plant being hit again. Backman going to deal with that in the south slow approach here as well. We got a contact man, we got the Panther T-70 there. A lot going on here between Backman and Esam. Though nothing particularly decisive either as of current speaking. MD4 to the flanking of the Maxim, very good there. No support armor core yet for Backman. And we got the Canard for joining in. We'll have to see if Esam then responds with a heavy mortar of his own. Some solo players would, others would already gone for it, and again others just won't bother at all. Finish the comps in the south, mine goes off. Actually, that's suppressor fire, actually now mine. Good shit machine gun though, getting outmaneuvered. Good push there by Esam, making good use of the train, certainly punishing Backman for putting in a position where Ken needs to get out of flank like that, honestly. And the north point that being seized back here for Backman, nothing further is going on still. We haven't really seen, like, you know, support core yet. Yet going to see a bit of healing here. Patching up their comrades in arms. mortar repositioning. They need to be careful. Obviously, this is a bit risky because, like, you know, his opponent could just beeline straight for the mortar and clear it out. He's not careful. Up north, meanwhile, he's committing all of his grenadiers despite there being no presence there from his opponent's infantry. Really, that's a bit awkward. Obviously means easy progress fast, but it does mean the entire southern flank is wide open here to push from Esam, even with the machine gun there. Finally got the support copter for Backman, that is excellent. Panther 4 is almost ready to be built there then. We got mechanized stomach for Esam, can of course start upgrading his comes to the 7-man status. He's also lost his guard squad, so that's pretty good there for Backman to get that one wiped out. Less good for Esam, obviously. Less good. Another hit on the car point. Honestly, at this point, I think Backman leads to consider laying down some S-mines on his car point just to make it harder for the opponent to make these quick raids on it, because it's definitely, you know, not doing him any favours that Esam just keeps running up there and doing that. But we got the Panther 4 halfway done. North Beacon is comes there by the point there, by the dead cow. Mechanized and the company are ready, which of course means Esam can now start upgrading all of his constancy with a mobilized reserves ability. Bit surprised, in fact, he hasn't just like started doing on all the squads now already. But I imagine it's only a matter of time before, you know, he remembers, oh right, I can start pressing that button. Mortify in the south here from the German mortar. Might want to use the barrage ability more, because that's where the mortar really gets good, is when you remember to use its mortar barrage ability. And this applies to all mortars, by the way. They tend not to be super impressive without barraging, but when you remember to use the barrage ability, they become quite effective if you're, of course, hitting targets with it. T-35 there for Esam. Panther was ready. Let's see what Backman goes for. Stug, I think, would be advised to assist the Panther 4 with the Stug, or the T-35, because just go for the Panther 4, which is what he's more likely to do anyways. Finally going for the car pioneer. Thumbs up to Backman. Thumbs up. No upgrade still in the conscripts. That actually is kind of interesting. Got the T-72, very good for Backman. But I'm very surprised. It's not like he's got like any munitions intensive abilities for his commander as such. And like, and just the conscript becomes so much better with mobilized reserves. It's kind of silly. So it does strike me as curious here that Esam is not mobilizing his reserves. Again, a bit like that slow tank command setup there, this definitely feels like some weird timing issues for Esam. Massive constant push here going for that Panther 4. We got it marked for death there with the marked target ability. We got anti-tank grenades being flung at it. Pushing it down there, it's like 2/3 of total just the anti-tank grenades. Thanks to marked vehicle, which really just shows how powerful marked vehicle is. Like, it just means like even anti-tank grenades can suddenly like do a lot of damage to Panther 4. And now we got the T-35 coming forward, Pack 40 set up here. I mean, that's definitely like a pretty rough, wild assault, and it's kind of working out there. Backman's about to lose his Panther 4, no doubt about it. He's rushing troops, his Pack's about to get hosed as well there. Could get a constant wipe here, but because again, Esam forgot to upgrade to 7-man squad. Nope, gets away there. Good golly. Yeah. Brutal but efficient push there by Esam. Backman, I think, being a bit too fast. They're taking Pack 40 in the way. And again, really, I think, could showcase though just how powerful just the anti-tank grenades are with marked vehicle. That is just, again, marked vehicle is a really, really powerful ability. It's probably the one that gets the least harder when you talk to this commander, but like, you know, it's also really good. Like, normally just focus on the T-35s, they more than the guards infantry because they're units, but like, vehicle repair trains are obviously good, but even like marked vehicles actually have really good ability. Another Pack 40. He's going to try and stall for the Tiger tank now here versus Esam. I mean, it could be an option, but certainly not without its risks. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think you should just go for Stug, honestly. And get out another Stug. And another one. No, just stick to 2 Stugs. Lines being spotted. Maxim in the house. Loads of rough grenades there. Pushing straight through the windows, killing Yevgeny. More off. Again, my apologies. And again, I swear I'm mostly feeling fine. It's just, you know, just the lingering elements of the cold that has been bothering me for now a week. T-Fed from 40 packs on around there, cut Panda faster then, in which case the T-Fed 5 could go down here. There we go. Worth noting, he hasn't actually recruited the Pack 40. Now it's his veteran Pack 40 as well. That's actually a bit risky. Yes, yeah. But also the veterans and also access to like target weak point, but also just easy wipe on the pack when he just immediately had a gun knocked out of the fight here when he really needs a second gun. So definitely I think a mistake there by Backman for several reasons not to recruit that Pack 40, and he does the other one now as well there. Still, cruise the first one up here. Might be able to turn around and take out the T-35 anyways, but I definitely think that engagement could have been handled significantly better here for Backman does the Esam. Significantly better. And then the T-35 gets away here. So yeah. Bit awkward play there by Backman versus Esam. Bit awkward. Panther is almost done there. Troops setting out there for Esam. Got the Panther ready for Backman. Conscript straight into the MD-42 there. Machine move towards the centre. Panther coming out for Backman up north here. Conscript push back. Brief considering a field gun there, but looks like Esam is just going to go for another T-55 when he can on HT5. So that's also a pretty good option. North hit push, forward hit push back there. Backman's going to use. Just back here for Backman. Maxim flanked, of course, right now. Backman has a total of 3 machine guns versus Esam's none. So if he plays them smart, he could definitely make it a lot harder for Esam to use his infantry. And he still hasn't upgraded any of the conscript scores. That is kind of amazing. As you know, the mobilized reserves upgrade is just such, you know, a standard and no-brain upgrade. The ZSO play for this long not go for it is actually a bit baffling. Now the T-35 there for Esam. T-35, I mean. For some reason I keep mashing up the name of the T-35. Creating a tank that doesn't exist. I'm not sure why. Fixing up the Panther 4. Bit of quad, he've got 113, there was a 417. Backman, though, I mean, he's definitely doing some good versus Esam now, but at the same time, he's also, I think, made enough mistakes that he's kind of managed to put himself into a bit of quarter here versus Esam. Needs to do something about that soon. He needs to, I think, put up a more solid front line from now on. As for Esam, well, you know, he needs to upgrade those conscripts. He still hasn't done that. I'm not entirely sure what the logic behind it is, except I guess he just doesn't want, like, you know, to like reinforce extra men. I don't know. I'm overall a bit less certain as to what the cause for that could be. North East Maximus the conscripts. Packs wrecking sandbags again in the south. The T-Fed for pushing forces with blind need support here versus Backman southern front. We cut the conscript holding up here. There's the T-Fed for 5 conscripts back here. Pack shoots, gets a decent shot in for the frontal armor. South the MD-42 was the conscripts. Slowly approaching the east level. Mines up here for Esam. Northern points being seized by the Gundees. T-Fed for backing off of it. And south we got the Contras, the Pioneers there, Panther southwards. decent shot there, but kind of whiffs. Up north, the point makes use for the Gundies. Comes around in the south with the Panzer IV. Back in, I think they're going for Backman. It is back to a bit quiet there. Mine's being laid down by Esam again, looking to block off any maneuvers, and theoretically would like go for a deeper flank here. That said, most players won't take this path. They'll always try and take this one. Run, you say, go for a deeper flank through here. Here it comes for Backman, thumbs up. Could certainly indicate he could actually make a push up north here against Esam, which could definitely catch Esam off guard. Can also soon go for another Panzer IV. Though of course it's not impossible that Backman might now try and stall for a Tiger tank here, which is an option, but I'm not entirely sure I'd go for it under current circumstances. Fresh push up north of Esam, sending his men forwards there. Right into the German gun line, and the assaults are unsurprisingly spectacularly awkward there for his infantry as they get ripped apart. South here, small Chinese force leaning forwards. CoH2 rocket launch for Esam. He wants artillery too, just something a bit bigger than a mortar. North here, the pursuit continues. Backman's offensive is going fairly well, as Esam's northern line is pretty much devoid of like any major defenses, except now the mines here from the Soviet engineers. That's it. Behold, with this single mine, we shall defend this entire flank. You're an idiot, Yuri. No, I'm not. My mother said I was smart. Your mother was voted biggest idiot in Leningrad 10 years in a row. She's an idiot. CoH2 almost done there for Esam. Good shot from the Panzer on the T-35, of course, got equal firepower than that, and right here gets so close to the contact with the anti-tank rifle grenade, almost got anti-tank grenade, but there almost got the T-35 and does destroy it. That's a significant blow to Esam. When he's offensive, I think already losing significant amounts of momentum here. And now he's lost his Maxim again. Good gravy. North, we got the other Maxim there. Single-handedly repulsing a third assault here under Esam's auspices. He's been caught by the T-35, but it's starting to look rather rough here for Esam. Part again, I think, is just the lack of upgrades for the conscripts, but also tactically. He's just like repeating the same tactics he has for some time now, and the problem is Backman's increasingly, I think, caught on to them. He's now much more adept and just prepared to actually receive these tactics and deal with them in a fairly efficient manner. It does look like Backman will be stalling for the Tiger tank here versus Esam.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
Does look like he is planning a Tiger tank now, which honestly, considering how Esam is playing, he can actually, I think, get away with it, because again, Esam is just not applying that pressure efficient here versus Backman. Tactic again, he's also just relying a lot on head-on assaults, not particularly large amount of maneuvering. And again, the lack of upgrades for the conscripts is just, I think, further sabotaging him in this respect. We do get something resembling a bit more of a flank up north here with him there. Tactically, there's a bit of lack of their support. South, though, looks like something's actually happening there. It's a bit more advanced than just run straight into every enemy gun. We're actually seeing something resembling a flank, but again, instead of further capitalizing on it, he reverts troops now towards the center, where things are already going sideways. Rather than trying to exploit the success he's having, he's now trying to cover up for the success he's not having elsewhere, thus removing any momentum for the success he was having. He's already lost engineers as well there. Casualties are piling up for some, as he going tactically, he's repeating the same mistakes. And he's also brought in CoH2, but might notice it's doing nothing. It's yet to fire a single barrage, though. Good lord, sorry about that. But yeah, he missed opportunities to fire the CoH2, so I think Esam here is definitely suffering some severe pressure here and stress, which I think is causing more and more mistakes to creep into his gameplay here versus Backman. It's either that, or he's just one of those players that's just really reliant on just one type of play, and then, once that type of play doesn't work out, they just kind of end up floundering. Like an economist, when they have to suddenly explain why the theory clearly isn't working, they're just well, it's working, despite everything's clearly not working out there. So Anyways, Panther 4 striking 40 right in the Chinese. Panther 4 here comes in trouble there in the center and the south. He also trouble here for Esam. Again, I think he's finally realized he has a Katyusha. He's actually started to move it about a bit, but again, crucially, we're not seeing any rocket barrages. I mean, it's definitely headed out for like minutes now, and there's like just nothing with it. Like, how many minutes has he headed out for? Actually, I think it's a good question there. 26 minutes. I was trying to say. So it's like 3 minutes now, approaching 4, and the Katyusha's just been collecting dust. Like, that's not great. It could at least, I think, fire 2 barrages in that time period, and crucially, it's done nothing. Like, that's just a massive resource sunk then that does nothing. That's not what you want to be doing at any point in time. If you're not in the late game when you're sort of struggling, you do not want to have your resources doing nothing for, like, you know, again, 3 to 4 minutes. That is absolutely not good. Meanwhile, Backman's getting close to that target tank here versus Esam. T-55 shoots, misses the Panther 4. Mark vehicle here. Contract for the center, still upgrades on them. Standing just 3 contract squads against the Panther 4 conveyor squads and now 3 machine guns. Not what you call particularly great here. Almost got the Panther 4, but he's about to lose the T-55, and that's going to be a horrible trade then for Esam, because Backman's just going to replace that Panther 4 with the Tiger tank. Esam's going to replace it with another T-55, which is, you know, he's got no anti-tank guns, no anti-tank infantry. He also just uses marked vehicles, so the situation here for Esam is, I think, particularly falling apart now here in the face of the German player, who again, while he did struggle in the early game, due to again Esam relying heavily on some pretty brutish tactics, efficiently. You know, problem is again after a certain point these tactics kind of break up, and rather than you adapt then, he just kept trying to do the same thing over and over again. Which can work to a certain degree versus, you know, less experienced players, but you know, against more veteran players like Backman, after a certain point these kind of strategies will completely fall flat on their faces. Your opponent is obviously at that point seen through what you're doing fairly efficiently. So now we got an issue from away here, but it's just, you know, unless Backman then willingly parks his target tank from that tank destroyer for, like, you know, forever, that's going to have a bit of a hard time then getting as much as he needs to here versus Backman. Of course, if he drives the target tank into his opponent's base, you know, maybe he can make the issue file work. But otherwise, I think Esam has increasingly penning himself into a corner here versus Backman. And Backman, I think, right now is like holding, you know, most of the advantage. Again, he's got 3 machine guns, 4 squadron infantry, all veterans of 3, all with light machine guns. He's got the mortar, he's got the anti-tank guns, like... Okay, Backman here is definitely committing a larger mistake. He does, you know, get the Katyusha, pop smoke, but the problem is now got to damage engines in issue 5. And as most of you, with basic, you know, understanding of mathematics can probably figure out, a Tiger tank is not a good trade for a Katyusha rocket launcher. So that Tiger tank is pretty much going to be waste of resource there for Backman. And kind of means the Katyusha wasn't a complete waste of resource for Esam, because at least he was able to, like, use it as bait. The problem is, though, right now Esam is still large inside his base, his men are dying out. And the HU-5, of course, while great versus the Tiger tank, is pretty much useless against all of Esam's other forces, like all the Grenadiers, the Pioneers, the machine guns, the mortars, the anti-tank guns. The HU-5 is going to do absolutely nothing against them. So he's only effectively got 3 contract squads and then you've there at the maximum to fight off everything else Backman has, because again the HU-5 is not going to cut it. So at this point Backman's pretty much got Esam's back to the wall, man, and just Esam is completely, I think, out to, well, get paddled. So I mean, theoretically Esam could pull something off, but realistically speaking, he's not. And at this point, I'm just going to stop the match. And I normally don't do this, but at this point, I think the match is over. Again, I think we had the good elements, but in the end, it's just like Esam is pretty much like, spent. He still hasn't upgraded his conscripts. The game is so again, he had a good early game. Again, he was able to push it down to 112, but again, he's kind of one of those brute force players, relying a lot on just, sheer raw power, a bit of cheese to sort of get through. But again, if they encounter any significant resistance, the strategy falls apart, and they fall apart because they don't know what else to do then. And so in this regard, I think this is a good example of these kind of strategies, the risks of them, and then just showing sheer determination, like the ability to hold out against these kind of strategies can do quite well for us. Well, I think Backman here definitely showed a lot of strength and resiliency in the face of Esam's strategy. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I learned something from it. Again, if you did, so like, subscribe, share, consider donating or pledge on Patreon. Help me out a lot here. This is Imperial LinkedIn. Cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye.